All right, AJ Dybantsa balls out against UConn. Let's check out his highlights, then we'll talk about how much we love him. I do have the audio muted, or the FBI is going to come and get me for something. Here's AJ right here. One thing I couldn't help, I wasn't trying to notice it, but if y'all look again, that was a travel right there. Definitely shuffles his feet pretty bad too. They're going to call that in the NBA. Goes up and finishes strong. One thing I noticed, he likes to finish with his right hand when he's going left. You're going to see he does have a left hand. Nice three ball. His stroke looks like it could use some work, but he knocks him down pretty decently. I love to see that. Uses the dribble to get into the post. The and one jumper. His that little turnaround going over his left shoulder. Honestly, he could work on it. I didn't think it looked great. It worked out. The shot goes in. He has another play. I think it's later in this game. He does the same turnaround over his right shoulder, and he looked better going that way. That play wasn't an and one. I guess they just wanted to kind of showcase his ball handling there. Between the legs, really quick cross from right to left. Looked like NBA level, not ball handling there with the crossover. Just the kick out. That was the one I was pretty much talking about. He doesn't necessarily get to his post game, but he's going to his left and he shoots that fall away over his left shoulder, attacks the closeout. Shooting that fall away going left, and that looked beautiful. He seems more comfortable going left to get to that fall away. You saw the right-handed one in the post, and it worked out, but it looks better when he's going left. That is definitely an and one. Let me see that one more time. That was honestly nasty. That in and out, that whole little dribble sequence was nasty. His handles do look very, very good. They can get better, of course, but his handle looks pretty tight at the college level. That in and out, he got him bad on that, and it's obviously a blocking foul. They'll show the replay, but he wasn't even close to getting there in time. AJ just blew by his ass. Yeah, obvious blocking foul, and AJ just bodied that man. It's against UConn too, so I can't act like he's doing it against some junior college because those performances don't really mean too much, to be honest. That's nice. He went to the we saw earlier in the game, he went to that little fall away in that mid post. Hits the pump fake like he's going to it again, and then reverse spin to the left hand. Like I said, he does have a left hand. That was a beautiful move. But I have noticed when he drives left, he kind of likes to finish with his right hand. But that's just elite. That's an NBA move right there. That is a great finish. Another little rhythm dribble into the three ball. I don't think his mechanics look great on his shot, but it does go down at a decent clip. He does score very efficiently, but I feel like the those NBA trainers will help him get better on balance, kind of work on just improving his form. Because I feel like his form could be a bit better. He could be more on balance for a lot of his shots, but his shooting is effective. So, what can you really say about it there? Just big three from AJ down the stretch. Let's see one more time. What was the score when he hit that shot? Yeah, he knocked it down to cut the game. Cut the game to 3 points. That's a big shot to keep them in the game. Again, his ball handle looks nice. His shot looks nice, but I think the scouts, or the NBA trainers rather, once he gets to a team, are going to help him work even more on his shot. But that one was on good balance, off the dribble, shoots right over the smaller defender. AJ, I believe he's 6'9", so he has good size on him. We'll get to his stats right here. So far, he's only played 4 games in college. He had that game against UConn, so that was kind of the most impressive opponent he's played so far. He did play Villanova in his first game. Then he played Holy Cross in Delaware. So the Holy Cross and Delaware games, he could have scored 50 points, and I wouldn't really take too much away from that with those being, smaller schools that aren't really known for their basketball program. But he plays in 32 minutes against Villanova. That's an impressive win against a solid Villanova team. He has the 32 minutes. He does shoot 9 for 18 from the field, so he's 50%. You can see all of his performances have been really efficient. His scoring looks really good. Again, I think he can clean up a lot of things on the offensive end. Like I said before, he goes left. I see him go left a couple times and finish with the right hand, but you did see that little reverse pivot spin he had where he goes to his left hand. So it's not like he doesn't have a left hand that he can go to, because he definitely does. He only shoots 1 3, but he knocks it down in that Villanova game. Scores 21 points in that game, 3 assists and 6 rebounds. He's 2 for 7 from the free throw line, so he's probably just nervous in his first college game, because he's not a 30% free throw shooter. He's obviously a solid free throw shooter. We'll kind of get to it. The video is not to compare Cooper Flag to AJ Dybantsa so much, but AJ's probably going to go in the top 3. Some people have him number 1 in the draft. I honestly like Darren Peterson better as a scorer than Cam Boozer's up there as well. Kind of depends on, I guess, what your team needs. I know you always draft based on talent. I think Darren Peterson's the most talented looking scorer. Cam Boozer's obviously the best low post presence you can have, and then AJ Dybantsa looks like probably just the best overall prospect. I think he's the rawest prospect out of those 3 guys, almost like how Ace Bailey was really raw coming out of college. I feel like obviously I think Dybantsa's better than Ace Bailey, but his game kind of reminds me of Ace Bailey at the college level. He's just much more athletic, much more explosive than Ace Bailey at that level, and I think he's probably a better, more versatile defender just with his athleticism over Ace Bailey. But Cooper Flag's first game, he played against Maine in his first game. Cooper drops 18 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Cooper did shoot 6 for 15 that first game. AJ's playing Villanova, much better talent, much better competition than Cooper Flag, playing against Maine in his first college game. But again, Cooper drops the 18.7 rebounds, 5 assists. He shoots 6 for 15, so really bad shooting in Cooper's first performance. AJ, really impressive. He shoots 9 for 18, 50%, and drops 21 points in his first performance. And it is against a solid team in Villanova. So that was a good start for AJ Dybantsa. Second game, he plays against Holy Cross. Again, like I said, I'm not going to be impressed with him playing a bunch of a bunch of church boys out there. They're never going to make it to the NBA. But he does drop 17 points in that game. He has 8 rebounds and 3 assists. He's 7 for 10, so he's 70% against Holy Cross. If you watch the game, he kind of was getting whatever look he wanted. He's just crossing the shit out of all these white boys out there. So, you should blow out Holy Cross by almost 50 points. And they did blow him out by almost 50 points. But, back to AJ, he had the 17 points, 8 rebounds and 3 assists, 7 for 10, so 70% from the field. So he did what he was supposed to do against Holy Cross. If he had like a stinker game, it'd be really concerning, but he did what he's supposed to do, 17 points in 24 minutes. Cooper Flag, second game, he was playing against Army, so a better team than Holy Cross, but still not some crazy competition. But Cooper Flag scores 13 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists in his second game. He was 5 for 10 from the field. So, I would say I think Cooper looks like the better overall prospect. Cooper Flag is basically the same age as these guys, but he came out 1 year early, and he's putting up, I would say, really solid numbers for the NBA. Some people are hating on Cooper because he's not scoring, I guess, 30 points every single game. I will say this real quick as well. People get tired of prospects like so quickly. If AJ Dybantsa goes, I don't know, probably go top 3, but he's going to get drafted in those top 3 picks. Let's say he doesn't score 30 points within his first 3 games. People are going to be saying off, AJ's a fucking bust, dude. They should have drafted Dylan, or they should have drafted, rather Darren. They should have drafted fucking Cam Boozer, because this guy didn't score 30 points his first 3 games in a row. It's crazy. People are already pretty much off of the Cooper Flag bandwagon because he's been playing really solidly. I think he's looked great so far, honestly, for Cooper Flag, but again, people get tired of prospects so fast, and they're already on to the next year. And I guess I kind of get it. You want to see those new prospects and get hyped up about the next guy coming in to the draft. But mark my words, if AJ comes out and he doesn't score 30 points within his first 5 NBA games, people are gonna say, fucking AJ Dybantsa is a scrub. This guy's a bust. So, it's kind of crazy how fast people get off those first 3 picks and are on to the next college draft class. But, some people just like to look out for the draft, and some people just get tired of draft prospects so quickly. But again, AJ, he looks like a really promising prospect. So again, mark my words, no matter how he performs his first 3 to 5 games, if he doesn't score 30 to 40 points, people are going to say, oh, this guy's a bust. This guy isn't what we thought he was going to be. which is just crazy. But back to back to AJ again. His third game he plays against Delaware, so not great competition, but he did what he should do out there. He scores the 18 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. He shoots 7 for 12, so he's 58% from the field. I think I already mentioned it, but comparing AJ and Cooper, first things first, I think AJ looks like a better, more efficient scorer. Cooper's a good scorer, but AJ's just his scoring versatility looks better than Cooper Flag's scoring versatility as far as him creating his own shot off the dribble. I think Cooper is nice in the post. Cooper can create his own shot off the dribble as well, but AJ just looks like the better isolation one-on-one scorer. Looks like he can beat guys off the dribble better than Cooper can. Looks like he has a pretty decent little mid-post game. You saw that little reverse spin to the left hand I showed you guys as well. So AJ looks like he has a solid, versatile offensive game. I think Cooper may be a better passer and playmaker. I think Cooper Flag's a better screen setter. He's probably better at being the roll man in the pick and roll. AJ may be the better ball handler in the pick and roll, but that remains to be seen once they make it or once he makes it to the NBA. But he has the 18 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Again, he's 7 for 12. He shoots 58% from the field. Cooper Flag's third game in college, he was playing Kentucky, so obviously a better level of competition than Delaware. But Cooper drops 26 points, 11 rebounds. He's 9 for 19 from the field. So again, like I was saying, AJ Dybantsa looks like a more efficient scorer. Just watching him from the eye test, I think he's going to be a better scorer than Cooper Flag just coming out from day one because he has more in his bag on the offensive end from what I've seen. But I think Cooper's a better all-around player coming out of college. But I think AJ looks like the better all-around scorer. I think Cooper may be a better playmaker and be more versatile on offense, honestly, as far as being a screen setter, being a roll man. I think he looks like he has better court vision and is a better passer than AJ right now. But if you just want like a pure ISO scorer, I think AJ looks like the better prospect as far as that goes. But again, Cooper has 26 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists on 9 for 19 shooting against Kentucky in his third game. Keep in mind as well, Cooper was 1 year younger than AJ Dybantsa and all these other guys when he was doing this because he classed up, so he went up 1 year so he can make it out of college 1 year earlier and make it to the NBA 1 year earlier. So Cooper's doing the same thing as these guys are doing at the college level, but he's doing it in the NBA. So Cooper's a really impressive prospect. Needless to say, I think people jumped off the Cooper Flag train way too quick. I thought he was overhyped coming in. People are saying he's going to be generational. People are saying AJ's going to be generational. Just kind of comes down to how you define a generational prospect. But a generation is at least like 10 years. There's not going to be a generational prospect every single year. Otherwise, 1 year would equal one generation, and a generation is, I don't know, at least like 10 years in my opinion. But anyway, AJ played great against Delaware. This last game against UConn was his most impressive game. They did lose, but this is the best opponent that he's faced all season long, and this is as close as you can get to simulating, playing an NBA game because UConn has the most talent out of all these teams that he's played so far. But AJ looked great. He has 25 points, 6 rebounds. He's 8 for 14, shoots 57% from the field. He's 2 for 3 from 3, and he shoots 7 for 10 from the free throw line. Again, like I was saying, just as a pure ISO scorer, I think AJ is a better prospect than Cooper Flag. If your team just needs like a pure isolation scorer, let's say Houston hadn't traded for Kevin Durant and they were trying to draft a guy, I think AJ would be a really good pick. But I think Darren Peterson looks like a better scorer than AJ Dybantsa. But I think AJ looks like a better overall player than Darren Peterson. But I think Cooper Flag looks like a better overall player than AJ Dybantsa. But I think AJ Dybantsa looks like a better isolation, just versatile scorer than Cooper Flag looks like. So kind of just comes down to what your team is looking for. But AJ, he fucking crushed against UConn. The 25 points, the 6 rebounds. Cooper Flag's fourth game in his NBA career. He played against Wofford, if I'm saying that correctly. Not a big college, needless to say, but he had 8 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists on 3 for 8 shooting. So Cooper Flag had a stinker in his fourth game in the NCAA. So, again, like I was saying, I think AJ Dybantsa is probably the best isolation scorer in this draft. I think Darren Peterson's just the better overall scorer as far as being like a spot up shooter. Darren Peterson can get loose off the dribble a little bit as well. I don't think he can do it as well as AJ Dybantsa, but if you need just like a space the floor, just high volume 3 point shooter, Darren Peterson looks better than anybody in the draft, just as far as his shooting stroke, just the eye test, what he looks like as a scorer. He looks like the best shooter in the draft, so that might translate the best to the NBA. For AJ Dybantsa, I do I do feel like he's overhyped, just like I thought Cooper Flag was overhyped in last year's draft. And I only say that because if you're saying this guy's going to be generational, I don't so much see him being generational. I didn't think Cooper Flag was going to be generational either, but he looks really solid in the NBA. So we can just take the sample size that we have and try to make our judgments on it. But I think Cooper Flag looks like a better, just all around draft prospect. If Cooper was still in college today, I think he would still go number one over all three of these guys, in Darren Peterson, AJ Dybantsa, then Cam Boozer. But if a team's looking just to draft just like the best isolation scorer in the draft, I think AJ Dybantsa is the way to go for that. But just with what Cooper Flag brings all around, he looks way better on defense than any of these guys, to be totally honest. He brings so much defensive versatility. I think his basketball IQ and his court vision look better than AJ Dybantsa as well. But like I've already said 2 or 3 times, if you just need an isolation scorer, I think AJ looks the best at being just an isolation pure scorer out of these other guys in the draft. But please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you think about AJ, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.